I'll be doing this over the holidays where I make a lesson, at least one a day, that I learned from reading the books that I'm reading at the moment. The one I'm talking about today is called The Six Pillars of Self Esteem by Nathaniel Branden. Discussing the second pillar titled The Practice of Self Acceptance, he describes the most fundamental understanding and pillar, and therefore the cause of downfall, which is a lack of belief in one's right to exist. And he says that to achieve even the most basic form of self esteem, you must accept and understand at the very least that you exist. This may seem intuitive, but it is and can be both the last line of defense against the acceptance of violation and things like that, and the basis for building a more complex idea of a person's self image. To accept and stand up for someone's right to exist is to acknowledge, first of all, that you do in fact exist, which most people struggle with, wanting to, fade into the background of social situations or family dynamics, as if to prevent themselves from being a burden on other people around them, wanting to please other people with the idea that if they do, then other people will like them and accept them, and believing that their presence is upsetting or awkward or distressing, and attempting to exist in the least potent way is the best way to counter it. That's why lesson number one is that you have a right to exist. Whether you accept it or not, you are here, listening to this video, and therefore you exist. It seems obvious. And anyone who tries to convince you not to, or tries to convince you to be quiet, conform, not stand out, is attempting to exercise some form of power on you and is quite frankly fighting a losing battle because it's not like you're going to stop existing. You exist and forever will exist. You may have terrible opinions, you may be unlikable, you may be annoying, whatever, but you still exist no matter what. No matter what anyone else tells you. And, if you're the most annoying person on the planet, right? Only one person is the most annoying person on the planet. You exist, that's you. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad or whatever. And in fact, that's what acceptance is about. It's about not judging or analyzing thoughts or reality, just accepting that they exist. It is what it is. And that doesn't mean you can't grow and change as a person and get better beliefs and develop a better lifestyle and better habits and things like that. But that whole time while you're developing it, you will exist. And you do right now, and you will in the future through all of these things. No matter how bad or good you are, you exist. And this is why it's super fundamental, because if you never acknowledge that you exist just because you don't like yourself or you think it's better for the people around you to just pretend that you don't or be quiet or whatever, that's like a direct violation on your own mind, because your mind is aware that you exist, obviously, because it's thinking. Um, and so the act of trying to suppress your existence is violating yourself. And that's what self esteem is all about. It's all about supporting yourself rather than, having practices that violate it. You have practices that support it. That's why it's called the six pillars of self esteem, as if your self esteem is like a building, and without all the six pillars holding up the structure, um, that it will be flawed, and there'll be ways to undermine it in a way. And yeah, basically, you will always exist and you will always be you, no matter like how annoying or charismatic you are, or how small, big, tough, masculine, feminine. It doesn't matter, just fundamentally ignoring everything about you. You are you. You exist as an individual, and no one else is you. Um, and so my plan is to have an actionable step at the end of every lesson. So you can actually, just hear something and go, okay, maybe that makes sense, but actually do something, implement it into your life to make it a little bit better, just that little bit better. And so the actionable step for today is to go find a camera, go find like a mirror, like a front facing camera, just preferably a mirror, but front facing camera will do, just anything that you can see yourself in real time, not like a photo. So you can see yourself and just look at it, right? Look at the camera or the mirror or something and just blink, and watch the other guy. He'll blink. Well, they'll blink. And, move your hand, like, do dumb shit, but like, roll your neck around and things like that. And you can see the person in front of you, they're rolling their neck around. Every time you command your body to do it, there is someone that is doing it, and that someone is you. And this is what mindfulness is all about, is being aware of this kind of thing, is that you exist in this moment, in this situation. You are you. And it's like you're alive and in control of your own body. And that's why I'm saying go to a mirror, is because there's no better way to see yourself than to be literally looking at yourself and watch your body move. Imagine it was someone else. You wouldn't say they didn't exist. And this might seem like, oh well, this is super obvious, obviously I exist, but you got to check subconsciously if you truly believe that not only you exist, but you have the right to exist. You need to be like potent with your life if you ever want to achieve anything, any form of progress. And like I said, the counter that people normally have in their brains is that, like, well, I know I exist, but I don't like myself. I don't like who I am, and I don't like what I do. I think people find me annoying or something like that. And that's okay, but it's all about accepting that first, because if you're just in constant denial about the fact that you have no social skills or whatever, you're never going to want to improve those social skills, because you're not going to think it's a problem. It doesn't exist. It doesn't. So that's what acceptance is all about on the most fundamental level, is accepting that you exist, and that includes all your emotions and your attributes and your situation and your house, your clothes, your whatever you have, right? You exist in this moment, and you forever will exist. And without understanding that, you won't be able to fix anything. You won't be able to improve at all. So this is why I made it the first lesson, because it's just the most basic, fundamental knowledge that you need to improve. And some people would just go straight into top 5 ways to earn money or get big in the gym or blah blah blah. If we don't start with the fundamentals, there'll be no foundation, no pillars to build up from. And so you'll just be building an unstable structure. If you look at it from like an engineering perspective, you're building an unstable structure that doesn't have the supporting pillars. And it's great up the top, but when you have so much up the top but the pillars are not so good, then eventually it's going to fall. And obviously we don't want that. We want to make sure that we're building it from the ground up, but a very sturdy structure, so that one day we'll have the full building. And yeah, I hope this helps. Hej då.